there's still no word on a cure for the virus, government officials report the virus is not airborne, but can be transferred through contact with blood and other bodily fluids. The virus seems to be making people uncontrollably violent.
Hey Jeff, where you been? Haven't seen you for a couple days.
Have you seen Time Bandits?
I was watching that.
Look, I just had a slap fight with Ponce de Leon. Putz de Leon. Motherfucker cheats.
What the hell are you talking about?
Respect thy brother. That's in the Bible.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Where?
In the Newer Testament with Mega Satan and Jesus Norris.
As much as I would love to read that, you're full of shit. What the fuck?
Page 527.
Dictated. Not read. God. You had them keep the quotes? I don't know what to say to this.
Well, then I guess there's no objections, huh? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Movies I Know You Haven't Seen. Don't lie to me. Or as I like to call it, my Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and sometimes Saturday night. The movie starts with a boy being sent to bed by his uncaring parents, and that is the last normal thing to happen in its runtime. While lying in bed, a mounted knight crashes through his closet, stomps around the room, and runs into his far wall, disappearing. He notices that the knight is the same as a picture he had hanging on the wall, and now there's no damage to his room.
What the hell is going on up here?
Great response time, dick.
Hey, pause it. I have to go to the bathroom.
I'm doing a show here. Just go.
Fine.
Yeah. The next night, while his parents watch TV, he didn't have much longer to live anyway. He wakes up with a camera. Time passes and nothing happens, so he falls asleep. He wakes up to find 6 dwarves popping out of his closet, who at first seem scared, but, well...
That's not him. It didn't sound like him, did it?
It doesn't even look like him.
It isn't him. Let's get him!
Their attempted murder is interrupted by the godlike being they feared, and they notice that the kid's wall can be pushed and began making their escape. This is the thing they confused a kid with a flashlight for? The kid is caught up in their escape, helping to push the wall until it flies out into space and the crew fall into blackness. They are transported to another when.
So what I miss?
The boy is visited by 6 time-traveling dwarves that used to work directly for gods healing space-time portals, but have stolen a map that shows when and where portals will open. They plan to steal riches from throughout history and go back in time to before the theft took place, thus making it not a crime.
The boy's room happens to hold 2 such portals, one in his closet and another in his wall. The dwarves are caught sneaking through while on the run from God. At first mistaking him for God, the dwarves jump the kid, but are interrupted by the Supreme Being and chase down a hallway caused by pushing the kid's wall until it gives way, and they fall into blackness.
Which is apparently a portal, even though it's the only case where a portal is not a floating black doorway.
I'm confused. I haven't even been gone for 30 seconds.
We haven't even gotten started yet, son. The crew find themselves in Italy during the Napoleonic War. They sneak into the conquered castle to rob Napoleon, and, to gain his trust, they do a jig for him. Napoleon then fires and replaces all of his generals with these unknown men. Why? Because they are shorter than he is, and therefore can be trusted. They knock Napoleon out at dinner, steal everything, and shuffle their way to the portal. This portal drops them on a pair of lovers sometime in the Middle Ages. Shelley Duvall is the worst part of everything she's in.
You came for me.
Things Shelley Duvall has never had to say in her life.
Okay, good use of remote. The couple run from the dwarves and are immediately tied up and robbed by a rival crew. The dwarves fall in with them to discover that they are Robin Hood's merry men. Robin takes their booty as a contribution and starts passing it out to the townsfolk. He even makes sure they're well fed with fresh knuckle sandwiches.
Is that absolutely necessary?
He says, yeah, he's afraid it is.
They can't mind it too much. This old lady comes back for seconds. Greedy bitch. we are introduced to the evil guy. Evil, the embodiment of evil, doing evil things for the sole purpose of being evil. I like his facehugger hat. He even blows this guy up twice. He wants the map to escape his imprisonment and rule the world, and plans to bring the crew to him. Through the power of ill-defined powers, evil creates a portal for the kid, whose name I never learned, and we are too far into the movie to change that now.
It's Kevin.
And he separates the group.
If he can create portals at will, why couldn't he make one to escape? I don't know.
The kid lands in ancient Greece and saves King Agamemnon from the Minotaur. They return to the kingdom and have a feast. At the kid's request, he is adopted by Agamemnon just in time for the dwarves to appear and perform a magic trick. Agamemnon does not give two shits that his new son is very adamant about not wanting to go with these strangers, and he trusts them enough to hand over his child, his crown, and half the wealth of the kingdom. The crew escape into a time portal. And land on the Titanic, falling directly onto Shelley Duvall again. They somehow have perfectly tailored tuxedos and enjoy the ride for about 3 minutes. I don't feel I need to explain why. Evil puppets Og and tells them that if they believe hard enough, they'll be transported to the time of legends and can journey to seek... What again?
Greatest faith man could want. The goal of everybody's hopes and dreams. The most fabulous object in the world.
That's just vague enough to work. The crew is saved by being transported from the middle of the ocean in our world to the middle of the ocean in Evil's world. They're picked up by a ship owned by an ogre and his wife, and the dwarves foil their plan to eat them and throw them both overboard. Then we find the ship is actually a hat for a giant. If you find that odd, know that I have given you just as much explanation as the movie has. The crew travel through the desert and break through some magical barrier to find Evil's castle. They are greeted by the game show host from the beginning and the kid's parents. Speaking of evil schemes and mind-controlling television, there was going to be another Time Bandit, but having 7 little people would put them in Disney's lawsuit happy clutches. Because I'm neurotic, I paused this movie until I had solved the maze. You're welcome. When they reach the host, he asks to hold the map for just a second. Then, the unforeseeable happens. It's actually evil in disguise.
Have the map! The day after tomorrow, the world!
The day after tomorrow? Why are we waiting? Go now. The crew is locked in a cage above a bottomless pit. The kid, damn it. The kid remembers that he had taken a Polaroid of the dwarves with the map, and they learn that there is a portal close by. They escape, steal the map back, and split with the kid, distracting Evil. Watch how he casts spells. There's a joke here that I am far too mature to make. Toshi? After a brief chase, the dwarves return with all manner of soldier and war machine, but Evil defeats them easily. Then he bursts into flames, leaving behind a pillar of ash, which then explodes for good measure. The Supreme Being has appeared and saved them. When the dwarves try to explain why they stole the map, God explains he gave them the map for the sole purpose of testing evil.
Well, of course you didn't mean to steal it. I gave it to you, you silly man.
I love this depiction of God. He's kind of a douche.
You might as well say, why do we have to have evil?
Yes, why do we have to have evil?
I think it's something to do with free will.
The kid is transported back to his world to find his house is on fire. He is saved by fireman Agamemnon, and his parents learn the cause of the fire is a piece of evil.
Mom! Dad! It's evil! Don't touch it!
Don't touch that button! Oh, now I got to.
I make this joke, but even Johnny Bravo had more hesitation than these assholes.
Don't touch it!
I like how Fireman Agamemnon winks at him like he did him a favor, and then abandons the poor kid in front of a burning house, smoldering remains of his dead parents, and no earthly possessions. The end. While watching this movie again, I saw that there's a lot of discrepancies with history throughout, like the SS Titanic instead of the RMS Titanic, or that Napoleon was actually 5'6", not 5'1". There will always be meticulous people calling out these mistakes, and pedantic people trying to retroactively defend the film with crackpot theories. Well, I beat you to both, motherfuckers, because my crackpot theory is that this whole adventure is what history looks like to a 10-year-old. It is a fairy tale told from the perspective of a child. The soldiers and tanks used against evil are the same as the toys the kid had strewn around his room, and in the chase you can see giant Legos everywhere. The moral of this particular fairy tale has the kid learning a very harsh lesson, that you can't defeat your problems with childhood beliefs. You need to grow up and handle it yourself, or put it in God's hands. There's a lot of off-the-wall stuff in this film, but damn is it fun. It's got a few guys from the Monty Python crew, and the film shares the same flavor of comedy. You can watch it on Hulu or Amazon with the Cinemax subscription, or spend $3 here on YouTube. Thanks for watching.
What'd you think?
I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
What other changes did you make to this thing?
It turned out 578.
Is this a centerfold?
I sure we're not in somebody's bedroom. Do you want to be leader of this gang? Oh, we agreed, no leader. Right. So shut up and do as I say.